Can I ask you guys some questions for like TikTok or Twitter?
Oh no.
Oh, why not?
Depends what questions they are.
Okay, well my first question is, are you for a Palestinian state for the Palestinian people?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am.
Okay, me too. I think that's right. But when white people say we just want no more immigration and we don't want more immigrants, then often I hear the left say, "Oh, that's racist. You can't have that." Like Bob Dylan, for example, right?
Doesn't have to do with anything.
Well, if my argument is that if a Palestinian can have Palestinian state, then there also shouldn't be hatred for white people who say, "Look, no more immigrants."
But it's not about immigration. It's not about.
It's about
The problem is it's
about a
not
settler
though.
colony.
Statistically, the immigrants are not that many. Like, it's all the misinformation. It's like 7%.
So already the left is just lying here. It's more like 27% or 50% from non-European ethnic origins. It might even be higher because third and fourth generation are not even tracked as not ethnically Dutch. So yeah.
And it's like, there's just not that.
I think yeah, like
That's like not even, none of
But,
most of that's just not true.
well, but the only increase that the West has right now is due to immigration
Okay,
and
fine.
immigrants.
If they can have their own land, then can the West
Yeah.
like also like stop like getting resources from third world countries?
That's a fair point. I
Like
guess.
if it's like if it's Europe for Europeans, then it has to be like Europe, only European resources for Europeans.
Yeah.
But like most of the economy for this like these countries comes from like Africa. or,
I
like, the
think
third world.
that's a fair argument.
like,
You
yeah.
can't really argue against that. Now, morally speaking, he has a point. The West shouldn't extract resources, though trillions have also been given to Africa. Though it's also a little bit unreasonable to expect that the West wouldn't take resources when Africans are literally incapable of taking the resources and doing something productive with it. At the same time, China is doing exactly the same thing, and it becomes a kind of arms race over who gets the resources. Africans are just not capable of defending their resources or doing anything good with them because of the major IQ difference. Now, that's not hateful, that's just my observation.
Immigrants make up most of the cheap labor in these countries, in
Yes.
the West, in the UK, in America especially. And now they're being deported, and who's going to do the cheap labor?
No, I can get behind that. To me, it's the crime increase. That is a real thing. I don't like that.
Immigrants are way less likely to do crime
I think that's like
than
fixed
native populations because they're scared of getting deported.
Yeah, that's not true. From my research,
would
that's
it-
not true. Now, again, that's ridiculous. I mean, the rapes have increased 2 to 6 times in Europe. Also, if you look at the worldwide rape scale, Africa far exceeds everything else. Also, with the Middle East, if you look at the nationalities who commit the rapes, it's Africans and Arabs. So that's just completely untrue. But many leftists will just lie to your face about it.
Illegal immigrants commit a crime, just get deported if you get caught.
Statistically, also like.
Well, many already have a passport.
Huh?
Many already have a passport in England.
If they have a passport, then it's not illegal.
To commit crime?
If they have a passport, then it's not an illegal immigration.
No, then it's not an illegal immigrant. That's correct. So it's not an immigrant.
Immigrants also just overstay their visa. It's a issue of paperwork, not of...
But for example, why I can't take the left seriously in some cases is they say like no one goes backpacking in Africa because it's too dangerous usually.
No one goes what, sorry?
Goes backpacking in Africa.
That's not true, they do that.
I think if I have to look up. So this is pretty hilarious. Again, they're just lying to your face about it that people do go to Africa. The other girl also said that earlier. Oh, people just go to Africa just as much. No, 60 to 300 times people go to Europe, and to Asia it's 40 to 200 times. And that's by Grok's analysis. So it's just completely ridiculous. The numbers, but from my experience. Yeah, but from my
backpacking destinations in the world.
Yeah, but when I look at like where the left people are going, just like almost everyone, it's always to Asia or to America maybe. People don't go to these countries, right? And I think that is with a reason.
I think that depends on how like that. I don't think that's like a political thing. I don't think
It's not a political thing, but
like right wingers or left wingers are like I won't go to Africa. It's just like
no, but it's often just very dangerous, right? Because it's just very dangerous. I don't see anyone going backpacking in
would
it.
you go to Vietnam?
Yeah, I would go to Vietnam.
That's also dangerous, but you still go there because it's like.
Yeah, but not that dangerous, right? You don't get.
It has better publicity though, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess so. What do you think? Like, well, South Africa is primarily white, and it's the most dangerous. Like,
South Africa is not primarily.
it's not primarily, but like they still like white.
Yeah,
people.
but the crime is not by white people usually. I mean,
They held most of the land in the place which belonged to them. So when they get repercussions for people coming back and trying to like take back the land that was once theirs, I don't think you can really call that like crime. It's like that just exists. Like they created apartheid.
I think in the case of South Africa, if one second. I think in the case of South Africa. So according to Grog here, it's true they were chased off the land in some cases, or it led to conflicts which led to conquest, though as we go in later, almost every society, in fact every society, is created through conquest. Like the Boers and stuff, they created their own, they had their own place, they didn't take it from anybody with too much force.
That's not true. They also made these zones where they pushed all the like native people out to. They were like
you can have that argument. I'm not sure about that.
They were underdeveloped. Yeah, we like I like read like a bunch of like books on this. It's like they like pushed out all the people. They made interracial marriage illegal, and all.
I know that today, at least in South Africa, most people are immigrants. Most of the Africans there are not from the area. They came to South Africa because they got very successful.
They came from what?
They came to South Africa. Most of the people there today, they came because it got very successful. You also had the case. You also had the case with Rhodesia. Rhodesia was the most successful,
Rhodesia was not successful, but I should have.
Rhodesia was the most successful, most safe place in Africa. People flocked there. They didn't mind doing the jobs that white people didn't want to do.
It was literally just an apartheid state. That was not.
And it was very successful. And then the apartheid got deleted, and it was overtaken, and it failed again. It became a failed state very rapidly. They wanted to live there. They wanted to live there. No, but they came there voluntarily.
Bro, Rhodesia is part of Zanzibar. It was all part of Zanzibar. You just came there.
It was not their land. That's true. It was colonized. Absolutely.
I'm gonna call this Rhodesia. I'm just gonna settle here, and I'm gonna kick out all the black people. And then I'm gonna talk about how this is the safest place.
No. It was they came there voluntarily. But when you say colonialism is bad, I can see that. This is fair. But Arabia is always also all colonized. It was also all taken by war. So it's like always blaming on white people. That's my grievance.
No, I agree with you that a lot of Arab countries were colonized. That's true.
In fact, every society that's like larger than 150 people, that was just created by force.
The problem is, do you think an Arab right now has like the same sort of like status or rights as like a white person does?
Oh yeah,
in our countries, no.
Absolutely not. Like the
but why? But I don't have the same rights and status that if I go to Arabia.
The difference is all those countries are like mutually in agreement where they're like a part of the Arab League. In terms of colonialism, which still exists today as a neo-colonialism, you go into that, you have control over the currency, you take away their resources, and then you complain about how you don't want immigrants. That's the difference between white colonialism and like
that's a fair point. Like, I don't necessarily argue against that.
Do English people complain about Roman colonization? No, because that shit's like so old. Same with Arab colonization. It's like
Arab colonization is not that old.
I don't think it's old. Like Turkey colonized all of the Arab countries.
Yeah.
It's like
and enslaved a lot of white people.
Yes, the Ottoman Empire did do that. But it's like the difference is like in today's world, do you think, if you compare a white person and a Turkish person, which one of them do you think has like a better status overall, like in these countries?
In which countries?
Like let's say the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands, probably the native people.
Exactly. It's just.
But that's the same in every country.
No, let's say like we go to America. That's a melting pot. Do you think who's going to get discriminated against, the white dude or the Turkish dude?
America was primarily a white state until like 1960s or so.
America was like
1860.
They had people there. They had people there. The white people. You can't. They can't even complain about
white people colonized it. That's true.
The whites were the settlers.
Well, they didn't build. There was how much land was inhabited by Native Americans?
Bro,
everything was inhabited. How much? So Native Americans occupied 0.1% to 0.5% of the land at any given time, and they were with about 5 million people. How much buildings did they build?
But that doesn't matter.
Is that an argument?
I mean, that's like nature. No, but that's like nature though, because what I just said, every society with larger than 150 people, it was conquered. This is nature. I'm not saying it's like great or anything. It's just the way it is.
White people descend from black people, descend from Africa.
Well, I don't agree with that. But even if that's the case,
I'm not saying all white. I'm not like blaming like fucking Swedish or Norwegian people. I'm not like blaming them. I'm like it's specific countries that did do colonization.
You may have fair points there in the injustice or whatever, but I don't. When I feel like in the left movement, you hear people like Bob Dylan who think it's great that Charlie Kirk got shot. Well, whereas white people who tried to end slavery mostly worldwide, that was ended by the British.
Okay, wait. Name one white dude who tried to end slavery.
The British ended slavery. That's that's a commonly accepted fact.
That is. He's not wrong. They did like end like chattel slavery. No, he's not.
No, worldwide. They tried to ban it everywhere because they were so Christian. They thought if we.
I mean, they didn't go to war, but they did fight with like a bunch of other countries on that.
And I think that's a good thing, right?
They still started it. They ended it.
No, they didn't start it. That's ridiculous. That's really ridiculous. Slavery was worldwide. Was a worldwide phenomenon.
Yes, but the transatlantic slavery, chattel slavery, specifically, was introduced by Portugal and by England.
And were the slaves bought or were they all conquered? or taken.
Bro, they were taken and then sold.
No, they were.
It was the transatlantic
No.
sector.
Most of them were bought.
a lot of them
most
were bought.
academics agree on
But
that.
even if,
Yes,
like,
they were-
if it's
I think
white
almost
people
every,
with the
yeah.
resources coming into the country,
From Africans, by the way.
giving it to the elite in the African countries and communities, saying we're going to buy and using their privilege to buy.
Like there were rich African people.
Yeah, and I think that's wrong.
Exactly.
I think
Like,
that's
it's
wrong.
still the white
Like-
people coming in and buying the people, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
shipping
that's
them
wrong.
off to use them for slave.
But the slave trade was already a thing in Africa.
Okay,
You know
here's
that,
the
right?
difference. Right now, if
It
you
was not invented by white people.
Okay.
It was already a
Well,
thing.
obviously, that's
Okay, look, in Africa right now, there's probably a lot of classism even within those same people.
Yeah.
That's different. That's a fair point. However, the difference is when you take those black people, bring it to a country like America, and then you have to talk about like they're being discriminated just for the color of the skin and also their class. Now it's a whole nother level.
To me, discrimination is just a freedom of choice. If I go to China and they say we don't want white people here, that's discrimination, right?
Yeah.
Well, the same thing can happen to anybody. If white people say we just want white people, you would say that that's hateful and
white
racist.
supremacy, yeah.
Yeah, and that's wrong. But if Chinese people do it, is that also wrong?
Yeah. Like if they just say that we want.
So the Chinese don't have a right to their land. So the Chinese don't have a right to their land. That's
Bro,
what.
the thing is
See
like-
how it doesn't make sense? It's anti-white.
No, the thing is like it does. because
just
most of the
anti-white.
immigrants in
Doesn't
China.
make sense.
Most of the people.
So you think that the Chinese do not have a right to their land?
No, I think nobody should argue like against legal immigration. That's the thing.
Nobody should argue against. No, but what if they don't want immigrants? Would they say we want China for the Chinese? That's it.
That's called far right nationalism. That's happening in Japan.
Exactly.
That's happening in Japan.
So, but aren't you the oppressive force if you're saying that Chinese can't have their own land?
No.
You're saying the Chinese can't have their own land.
we can ask the Chinese. You know,
But that is.
They want that either.
You want to get some fries?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.